Mr. Speaker, I wanted just to conclude by thanking my colleagues for so many kind words, bipartisan in nature, and Mr. Speaker, some of the things we've done together here, which I couldn't even remember. So I want to tell each one of you, asanteni sana. Mr. Speaker, I also forgot earlier to thank the staff, the Secretariat of the Senate, led by the clerk, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye, and the entire team. They are some of the best public servants we have in this country. And without their support, I would never have done anything as a senator, deputy leader of majority, and the majority leader. So I want to thank all the staff. They have been extremely kind to me in drafting bills, in reports, in letters, everything that I've wanted to be done for me. And I want to ask the senators here to utilize the services of our most knowledgeable secretariat. Last, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the team that has made it possible for me to be in this Senate. Mr. Speaker, that is the campaign team, famously known as OKM team. I want to thank them everywhere for volunteering to campaign for me to win 3 elections, Mr. Speaker, and for staying the course. And I want to tell them our journey is not yet over. We are taking a pause from elective politics, Mr. Speaker. We will be back. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell my family, like Senator Cheriot said, to Gladys, to Kipto, to Kibet, to Cherono, to Kiberur, that your father is very proud of you, and your husband is very proud of you for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Kenya and the Elgeyo Marakwet people in this chamber. And I look forward to your partnership as I also serve the people of Kenya in the new position. Mr. Speaker, after I leave this door, sadly I will not come back as a senator because I will be going to hand over my letter to your office, a resignation letter to your office, to pave way for the president to formally appoint me to serve in the docket that I have been nominated for. To all of you, we are friends. My ministry and other ministries are public office, but I will be very careful to at least give some extra consideration to this chamber, without which I would never have the kind of public limelight that I have received that allowed me to become the senator that I am. So all the requests made by senators, we can continue that conversation in the Senate. I am requesting kindly to the senators, I should be removed from the Senate Business Committee, WhatsApp group, but please don't remove me from the Senate Social Group. So that I can continue, so that, Mr. Speaker, I can continue enjoying the jokes and the good moments that we enjoy as senators. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Murkomen, on behalf of the end of the Senate, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, myself as deputy, the entire Senate, the staff and all the people who work with us, the great people of Meru County, and my very behalf, I wish you well. I wish you best of everything. And I wish you God's favor as you serve the good country called Kenya. So thank you, and God bless you in your future endeavors. I'll be retreating to my office shortly to receive you and the letter that will be accompanying you. Therefore, let's get to the next order. We go back to the statements under Standing Order 53.1, and the Honorable Senators allow me not to give any comments on these statements. Senator Mohamed Chute.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education on the state of operationalization of the Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, institutions in Marsabit County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the number and particulars of students sponsored by the county government to undertake their training in the TVET institutions in the county in the last 5 years. 2, state the amount of public funds allocated, disbursed, and spent in the TVET bursary scheme in the last 5 years, giving the number and particulars of the beneficiaries. 3, shed lights on allegation of closure of certain TVET institutions such as Umuro Vocational Center, Obu Vocational Center, Moyale Vocational Center, Loyangalani Vocational Center, Saku Vocational Center, Abdikatil Vocational Center, and Merile Vocational Center, stating the amount of funds disbursed to these TVET institutions in the last 2 years. And finally, state the number of students disadvantaged as a result of closure of these institutions, providing alternative interventions to alleviate the situation. Senator Mohammed Chute Marsabit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Girori Oroba, make your statement.
I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information, Communication and Technology regarding the localization of digital data storage. In the statement, the committee should explain why data created and owned by Kenyans is stored in servers outside of Kenya, making it difficult to protect the rights of Kenyans under the data protection laws in Kenya. 2, list the number of online entities which have operations in Kenya, stating their particulars such as the presence of a locally registered office for accountability reasons. 3, state the amount of revenue collected by the Kenya Revenue Authority from online-based entities such as Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Uber in the last 3 years, outlining challenges and legislative interventions to enhance efficiency in collection of taxes from entities operating remotely. 4, give reasons for the lack of localization of data storage, which could ensure that jobs in the technology sector, specifically the data center industry, are not exported, allowing us to create a robust digital economy. And 5, state initiatives, if any, put in place by the Ministry of Information, Communications and Digital Economy to localize data storage and physical representation of online-based organizations.
Thank you, Senator Oroba. Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 531 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on incidents on negligence at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital in Nairobi County. In the statement, the committee should shed light on the circumstances surrounding the death of a mother, Mrs. Maureen Anyango, after delivering twin babies at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, and one Eddie, who died at the same facility from injuries sustained in the road accident, stating the respective dates of the admission, the time they were attended to, and date and time to their respective deaths. Indicate the emergency care procedures performed on the respective patients, if any, prior to their deaths. The third, undertake an investigation into the conduct of the hospital management with a view of recommending disciplinary measures against persons found culpable. Number 4, investigate the state of facilities at the facility as well as the standard of service, provincial service, including the medical officers to patient ratio. 5, state the amounts in public funds disbursed to the facility in the last 1 year and provide an audit the functions undertaken within the same period, making specific reference to the medical supplies procured. And conduct an assessment of the emergency care preparedness at level 5 hospitals in the counties, stating the competencies available for emergency care. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The Honorable Senator for Nairobi County, Edwin Sifuna, your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to request for a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the issue of compulsory acquisition of land and compensation for compulsory acquisition of land to landowners in Lamu County over the terminated coal and power projects. Mr. Speaker, over 4,000 acres of land were set aside for 2 power generating projects, one in Kwasasi village and the other one in Baharini, both in Lamu West constituency. However, the said projects have been halted for several years now, and the landowners whose property had been set aside are yet to be compensated for compulsory acquisition. In the statement, the Standing Committee on Land...
Senator Sifuna, sorry, I'm cutting you short. Could you approach the table for the proper and approved statement? You may now proceed, Senator Sifuna.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53, Mr. Speaker 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the fate of the 600 owners of compulsorily acquired land, which was to pave way for the coal and power projects in Kwasasi and Baharini villages in Lamu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, explain the circumstances surrounding the inordinate delay in compensation of persons whose land was compulsorily acquired by government to pave way for the projects. 2, explain the legal recourse available to the residents with specific reference to compensation and payment of any accrued interest brought about by the delay and inconvenience caused to them. 3, establish whether there was involvement of the public during the compulsory acquisition in line with Article 232, 1D of the Constitution, and 4, state the plans that the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development and the National Land Commission have put in place, if any, to revoke the title deed issued to the project and return the land to its original owners. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senator Sifuna, the Senator for the County of Nairobi. Next is Senator for Mombasa County, Haji Faki. We are going to defer that. The next Senator Madzayo, he's also not in. We will defer. Let's call the next order. The next order, please.
Order number 8, motion. Parking charges in institutions offering essential services to the public.
Honorable members, Senator for Migori County, Eddie, you had your time yesterday. You had utilized 6 minutes. You have got 13 minutes of your time yesterday to contribute to the motion by the Honorable Senator for Nairobi County, Honorable Sifuna. I will allow you to take the floor so that you conclude on your time, as we also take up more responses to this. Go ahead, Senator. Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. I wanted to just briefly contribute to the matter of a turnabout the exorbitant parking fees, especially in areas that we consider giving Kenyans within Nairobi or who come to Nairobi fundamental services or essential services. And yesterday I rose to bring a different perspective, which is the perspective of the lack of a nexus between county laws and national laws. Because pursuant to Article 209 of the Constitution on power to impose taxes and charges, only the national government may impose income tax, value-added tax, excise tax, custom duties, and other duties on import and export goods. But if you read that article more importantly, Mr. Speaker, 209 sub-article 5, the taxation and other revenue-raising powers of a county shall not be exercised in a way that prejudices national economic policies, economic activities across county boundaries, or national mobility of goods, services, capital, and labor. Essentially, Mr. Speaker, in my humble view, the problem in Nairobi comes from what we see as some of these draconian laws that the county government of Nairobi has been able to pass. I was referring yesterday, Mr. Speaker, to an instance in 2018 that the Nairobi County government passed a financial act that started imposing these exorbitant fees on any enterprises that do have businesses that work around issues with regards to parking. So the question that I was bringing to the House, therefore, is the question of, is the problem in Nairobi a question of revenue generation or a question of pure regulation? Because if it's a question of pure regulation, then it is easier to have people like the Nairobi County government solve. But if it's a question of revenue generation, then it becomes even more complex, my brother Senator Sifuna, because you will find that Nairobi County government starts setting targets to raise more money, which then ends up affecting any other businesses that then engage in parking. So I was giving an example of this year where Nairobi County government actually did pass a bill, I think it was on February 5th, 2022, where the Nairobi County government passed a bill that for any business that does have a capacity, any parking business that have got capacity of 50 vehicles must actually pay Nairobi County government up to 500,000. And for any business that has got 100 and above, then they must pay up to 2 million, Mr. Speaker. And these have got a ripple effect in the other areas that we talk about, because what then ends up happening is that the businesses, or rather the businesses that are engaged in essential services in the county, then respond to those kind of policies and start putting up with it by increasing their charges. So I think that where there's a problem or a nexus between national laws and the county laws, then it goes without saying that county laws will therefore prevail. Because if you look at Article 92, Parliament is actually the National Assembly and the Senate. There is nowhere where it is mentioned that Parliament also includes the county assemblies. So this was the context in which I was requesting that even as we think about passing this motion and having some remedial responses from this motion, Mr. Speaker, it is critical that we be able to regulate the nexus between county laws and the national laws that pertains to this kind of revenue generation laws that we see in the counties. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Senator Eddy. The Honorable Senator for Nandi, Cherargei Samson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From the onset, I want to support the motion by my big brother and my senior in profession, and the city senator, Senator Edwin Sifuna. I think this motion is timely. On several occasions, you know, as rural senator, I've always questioned why you have to pay for parking in an hospital.